Good morning and Assalamu alaikum. You are tuned into Inspire FM 105.1 FM. It's Friday, 12th of December, and the time has now just gone 10 o'clock. Welcome to Mother's Planet, a show where there is always something to talk about in a productive and beneficial way. I am your host, Neelam, and listeners, I am feeling very sorry for myself this morning because I thought I had managed to escape it. But I haven't. I've actually managed to catch this dreaded cold flu or whatever has been circulating, and I'm quite run down. So any sympathy messages that people want to send in, listeners want to send in, I welcome them all. I think I'm the worst patient when it comes to being ill in my house. I sort of build some resilience in my children, and I tell them to fight it off, be strong, and it's just it. You're if you keep moaning about it, you're not going to get better. So I try to make them think positive. But when I'm ill, it's a totally different story. I need that time to moan, and and so I'm not a very good patient, but I have my honey, lemon, and ginger brew with me here, and I'm hoping that taking that will help me. I do, alhamdulillah, feel a lot better than what I did yesterday. Running a temperature. I think the older you get, when you have temperatures, it's very hard to deal with it. I don't know, listeners. Let me know what your view is on that. Do you think as we get older, it's harder to deal with being ill? When you're young, you're a bit more resilient and you want to get on with stuff. I can go back to being 10 years younger, and I remember when I was unwell, day 2 or day 3, I'd force myself up and get into the kitchen and just do what I need to do. Otherwise, it would be very difficult. Now I find that I'm not being able to do that. Now, I have some guests this morning with me, and I believe they are running a little bit late. I have got a fantastic show lined up for you guys, and my guests are running late, and they are hopefully going to join me online. So let's hope that they can connect that way. They have been stuck in traffic trying to get to the studio. So unfortunately, they will be joining via online as well. But I have a fantastic show lined up for you this morning, and it's all about Ignite, which is a program that's running in Luton by Kalish and supported by the Raise Up Foundation. And it's for the youth, so children from the young people from the ages of 14 to 18 are welcome to join this free program, which is going to equip them for skills for change. So I'm hoping that they are not far, and my guests are able to join me as soon as possible. The usual things. We are live on air, reaching out to all our listeners through the airwaves at Inspire FM 105.1 FM. We are streaming on Facebook, where you must give the show a thumbs up and can also comment on today's topic. And as always, I am taking in WhatsApp and text messages on the studio number 07779 481 822. Now, it's been miserable weather. It's December and we have rain. I have to rant about the weather because I'm British and that's what I do. I always rant about the weather. But it's raining and it's December. We haven't had any snow, which is usual for this time of year. I haven't, as I mentioned in my show last week, actually had to use my de-icer. I invested in, I think we had that one day of snow. And then a couple of weeks later, we had ice, where it was quite icy on the streets, and the cars were icy. So I invested in de-icing sprays, a couple of bottles, because I panicked and I thought that the shops are going to get wiped out. So I need to get on board and get these quickly. And I haven't used them. And so I wonder how you all feel with this weather that we're having. how the rain is for you. I do think it's this rain that is actually making the virus that is going around on the cold and flu bugs spew a bit more, because it's spreading, and we're having hot and cold temperatures, so it's not allowing us to actually shake it off. So I'm just letting my guests hopefully join in. I'm just letting the admin team know that they are joining online, so hopefully they'll be able to connect, because I do believe they have connected. Okay, so they are connecting, so they should be joining me shortly, inshallah. So listeners, yeah, I've been moaning about me being ill. I've been moaning about the weather. I've been moaning about all sorts, but I think we're done with hearing from me now. I'm going to be introducing my lovely guests now this morning. So good morning to Kailash and Rehana. Good morning. How are you both?
Great, thank you. Nice to be with you.
Oh, Kailash, I love the accent. I think I'm just going to let you take over the show and speak, because I was really looking forward to hearing from you, purely because you're a man with so much experience and an American accent, which I'm sure everyone that's tuned in this morning will be in awe of, and you'll be more interesting than myself. I did have a little moan this morning, just to let the listeners know that I'm not feeling well. So any sympathy messages and anything, I welcome them all. And yes, but I'm going to put myself aside. And, thank you both for joining me on the show this morning. I'm really excited to introduce Ignite. So before I delve into my questions, can I get you both to introduce yourselves?
Well, probably listeners are sick to death of hearing from me, but yes, I'm Rehana Faisal. Thanks. I'm Rehana Faisal. I am chair of the Raise Up Foundation. We're, amongst other things, and we're a small local charity. We work with young people. We're really interested and concerned about how do we support our young people to achieve their aspirations, to be able to, get where they need to be in life, and to really, be successful in whatever they choose to do.
Lovely.
And Neelam, good morning to you. You're sounding just great, even though you may be under the weather. So well done. And love your show and what you guys do here. I grew up in Luton, but I'm a refugee from Uganda. I was born there, then I left, and then a nomad for a few years through East Africa to India, and then eventually here. Learned how to speak English, went to school in Luton. So this is home. My family still live here, my mother, my brother, and my uncles and aunts and everyone. And I ended up getting an engineering degree after I finished high school here and sixth form, and then did a master's in AI, and then became a chartered accountant, started working with EY here at Capability Green. And then in 1995, I had the opportunity to go to Silicon Valley. And that's where I've been in California, working with my current company for 36 odd years. And along the way, it's been a real pleasure. And this is going back to the Ignite program that we're going to introduce, but it's been a real blessing and just incredibly wonderful experience to have mentors and people who've helped me along the way. And that's what we're trying to do here in giving back to the young learners and young minds and bring our Luton community together. So thank you for having us.
No, thank you for joining me. It's a real privilege. I am actually really excited, and it's a shame that we're not meeting face to face, because I would have loved to have met you face to face. But you are a true example of someone that's had quite a difficult childhood, traveling around and then settling and then learning English. I would never have known that English has not been your first language, learning English and being as successful as you are today. So, you are a great example, born in Uganda, raised in Luton, and now in America. This is amazing. So how did those early experiences shape who you are today?
I think there were a few lessons learned in my early upbringing, Neelam, that shaped how and I may not have known it at the time, but it deeply influenced who I am on the inside. One of them was early on as a refugee. It was fascinating to see how people stepped up to help you, whether they gave you blankets or food or shelter. And along the way, you kind of say, hang on, this person doesn't look like me, but they're helping me. And one of my favorite experiences is a teacher, a Caucasian teacher that didn't look anything like me. And in fact, we're at the school where I started. So apologies, we're not there physically with you there at Stockwood Park Academy, which used to be called Rotherham High School, I think, in the days when I was here. But there was a teacher that literally just paid attention to me and said, come on, Kailash, you can learn something today. And that inspiration gave me my second lesson, which is be a student for life. You know, you cannot think that learning is just in the classroom. And you've got to be able to kind of say, hey, I've got to learn as much as possible, no matter what it is. It doesn't have to be something technical or scientific, but that's those are the lessons. And then thirdly, passing it forward, pay it forward. I've been a big believer that we are so blessed and lucky where we are. There are so many people worse off that no matter what our problems are, there's always an opportunity to help somebody, one person that you can help in doing something simple, whether it's helping them do their grocery, helping them across the street, helping somebody get a job, or just even being a good pair of listening ears to somebody who's got some challenges they're going through. So those are my lessons learned, and that's really shaped me, Neelam, along the way on everything I've been doing and continue to do.
Yeah, and that's wonderful. And I guess, what was the key moment or experience that sparked the idea of for Ignite, that you thought, right, it's time to give back now?
Yeah, so this has been in the making for many years, and really it started a while back when technology disruption really started to take shape. And as I mentioned, I'm an AI engineer by background and a chartered accountant. So I really understood the impact of technology on business, and which then leads to entry-level jobs and the kind of careers people have. And living in Silicon Valley, I get to see the genesis and the beginnings of all of this technology disruption. I mean, we talk about AI, but there's so many incredible things that are coming into society that will change the way we live, the way we interact with each other, the way we communicate, and all sorts of things. So a few years back, I said, okay, we're learning things in classrooms in the structured education system, but the problem is we go through that and you come out at the other end, and the world has moved from being a supply-driven world where, hey, you've got a degree or you've got some skill and now there's a job, to being more demand-led, because businesses themselves are changing with technology and their needs and so on. And so we said, how can we supplement, augment whatever these learners are getting at college, at high school, at universities, and give them some of these skills around design thinking, problem solving, how to be agile, how to kind of be able to have the mindset to navigate in today's chaotic world, which I believe, Neelam, I don't think that we're very elastic. I don't think we're going back to the days of 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I think the world that we're going to be living now and these young people are going to inherit is one of constant agility. And so they need to be able to have the skills, and hence we put this program called Ignite together to work with the schools, the business community, parents, the town at large. And we're bringing everybody together, literally everybody, to say, hey, this is our town and we need to work together to help each other and lift everyone off the ground, because it's not one institution or organization that's going to solve this. It's got to be all of us. And we have a window in the next 2-3 years to really make a big difference and literally kind of leap ahead in our town compared to where most other places are around the world that are all struggling.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I agree with you. AI is, and I'm fascinated by the fact that you studied AI so many years ago, because we think it's new. We think it's something that's just turned now and, is navigating us through the world today. But I mean, I'm interested to know, I've read up a little bit about yourself, Kailash, and that's why I'm so intrigued about your participating in this Ignite program. You moved to the US in 1995, and that was Silicon Valley is the hot town of the dot-com boom at the time. So you are somebody that's well equipped of that change. So when listeners are tuned in this morning and thinking, what makes you equipped to educate the children or the generation to come, explain us a little bit. Can you explain to me a little bit about that change, that when you started, how, .com was a big boom then, and it had just started and everyone was going crazy on it. So yeah, just share some of your experience and how your experience in this time is going to help the youth today.
Thank you for that question, Neelam. And so when I went over there, we had organizations like Google just starting up. And I remember sitting in this one room on a beanbag with the leadership. And we're trying to understand, like, well, what does Google do? What's it going to do? Why would anybody want to search the web or whatever it was called? And so we went from those days to watching these organizations grow into large organizations they are. But along my journey in Silicon Valley, you could look at any industry, Neelam, whether it's healthcare, telecommunications, oil and gas, financial services, I mean, you name it. But we've seen incredible innovation. And I've been very blessed to be right in the center of it in Silicon Valley, from not the normal household companies you think of, with the Apples and Googles and Facebooks and so on and so forth. But there are some incredibly, wonderfully talented folks who are developing the next wave of innovation. That's going to allow us to live to be 120 years old. That's going to allow us to have homes in space. That's going to allow us to do all of these incredibly wonderful things. And the thing that I've noticed, Neelam, that allows me to maybe speak with some level of experience is I've seen this over many decades, where technology disruption happens, and then it takes us 10 years or so to absorb it in society. But now what we need to recognize, and your listeners need to recognize, is that we absolutely pivoted a few years ago, 3 years ago, to where now we have not just one disruption of some kind, but we have 6 or 7 at the same time. We've never been in that environment in our human history. We've always had the stability of seeing some disruption, whether you go back to the printing press or the Industrial Revolution or the Model T Ford car, but we've always had the ability to take the time to absorb things. And sadly, because of the pace of change we have now, we, parents, young people, listeners, our communities, are getting exposed to things that will force us to change in months, not years. And that's the reality of where we are, and what we want to bring to the forefront in Ignite and expose people to this. And really, it's not out of fear either, Neelam. I'm a very bullish person that I think we have so many amazing, wonderful things to look forward to. Transition is always hard, for young people looking for entry-level jobs, or for people trying to get an understanding of what is AI and what's it going to do, and will robots take over the world? That's all natural. And we want to kind of have that dialogue and then be able to say, but here's how we can get to where this world is really trying to get to over the next 3, 4, 5 years. And here's how you should equip yourself, the skills you need, and how you should be thinking about things so you can be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are living in a very fast-paced world at the moment, where things are coming to us. And once I thought I was quite fully equipped to raise my children and think, yep, I know what's going on. But there's things that are changing now that both my husband and I are like, wow, this is not something we've been exposed to. And it's trying to give the youth that confidence that because there's a lot of deflation since AI has come in, a lot of deflation that there's no point in doing anything now because AI is just going to take that role and do that. So a lot of the youth and the younger generation feel quite deflated and don't really have an ambition or a sense of direction of where they want to go because of this fast-paced world that we're living in and because of this technology that's taking over and threatening them that their jobs are not going to be, useful in the future. They're not going to have a job. They're not going to be able to, make a difference to the world. So I think it's really important that those core things are instilled into the youth that, actually, no, that's not, I mean, you've got a fantastic career. You've been with, the company that you work with, you've been with them for a very long time and you will do so as you continue. Rehana, you're very quiet in the background there. So I need to bring you forward as well. Just what's the support that Raise Up Foundation is going to be doing with this program?
So, we've recruited Kailash. That's the big thing. So, Kailash and I met, I think, probably just over a year ago, and we both had this really kind of similar goals and aspirations, and I think identification of needs of young people at the moment. So we both knew that there's a gap here that young people have, and that gap will grow if we don't do something quite soon in terms of their knowledge, experience and understanding, of careers broadly, but also just of careers in a rapidly changing world. And Kailash had this idea, and we thought, right, let's work together to deliver this. So this has been sort of about a year. In us kind of pulling this together. Obviously, Kailash has been in working in California for a lot of that time. So we've been doing a lot of the sort of work on the ground here in terms of bringing together the partners, just doing all of the things that have to happen in the background to bring everything together. And we're going to be alongside him in terms of leading it. Obviously, Raise Up have been working with schools and young people for a while now. So we had those good relationships that we plugged into to help young people, to make schools and young people aware of what we're offering. We're in Stockwood Park today, but we have been speaking to schools and careers leads across Luton, Stockwood Park in particular. Obviously because it has a significance for Kailash. I think he's been pretty wowed by how much changed since the last time he was here, but also I think some memories in terms of of his time here. Because actually, just to add to that, it's not just the place that he went to school. Neelam, you'll remember, back in the day, we were having weddings in school halls, right? Yes. So Kailash married at Stockwood Park, or Rotherham.
Oh wow! So a true significance for you then there today. Wow, that's amazing. So I mean, just to say, I mean, I know I can see where this campaign's heading, but what do you ultimately hope is this campaign will create, or this, I call it campaign, program, project?
So if we start a little bit by telling kind of listeners what the program is and what it's like, and then I guess go on to like some of our longer term aspirations around this. So the program will kick off sort of mid-January. So between now and then, encouraging people or young people, their families to have a look at it, sign up. And it will be essentially a 6-month program. We will start off by sharing a problem with them, a problem that we need their help in solving. And the problem that we've chosen this time round is health. And that's really broad and that's deliberate, so that they've got a lot of things that they can think about. So whether that's mental health, physical health, spiritual health, whatever it is that they choose, we'll give them some learning around that problem. And then we'll say, right, now that you understand a little bit about this, tell us what you would do to help tackle some of these issues. We'll put them into teams, and those teams will work to put together, we'll act essentially as a startup business, and we'll put together plans to tackle the problem. And to help them do that, they are going to be introduced to brilliant teachers and mentors from literally around the world.
Wow.
I think hearing a little bit of Kaish's story, you can understand the kind of the context and the people that we're going to be bringing in to give them the tools to be able to do this. So whether that is learn about how do you network and build relationships, whether it's about profit and loss sheets, all the basics, what are the roles in a company. Yeah. What are the responsibilities? So all of this learning is going to go in. It'll end up at the end of the year with a Kailash calls it a gala, and I call it a showcase event.
Rehan, I'm going to interrupt you there. Just to say, we're going through a short
in the end, but
Rehan,
a big gala / showcase event.
Because we're going to a short commercial break now, so I'll tune in afterwards.
This programme will continue after the break. Continue listening to Inspire FM. Inspire FM.
Inspire 105.1 FM.
Assalamu alaikum wa bismillah. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كن في الدنيا كأنك غريب أو عابر السبيل. That be in this world as if you were a stranger or a traveller.
Visit Luton's biggest halal supermarket, the Grand Bazaar Supermarket on Lee Grave Road, for an unbeatable range of fresh halal meat, poultry, fish, fruits and vegetables from all around the world. And all under one roof. Plus everyday essentials, basic healthcare items and even medicine. Everything you need, all in one place. That's the Grand Bazaar Supermarket, Lee Grave Road, just next door to Shell, Luton's largest international supermarket. Open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and view online at grandbazaarluton.com.
Greystone Solicitors are committed to protecting your rights and fighting your corner to ensure you get the best possible results. Specialising in immigration matters, employment issues, family matters, personal injury, medical negligence, civil litigation and housing. Need help with your immigration problem? Greystone Solicitors provide free immigration drop-in clinics every Friday. Call Greystone Solicitors today on 01582 343 453 or visit us at 275 Dunstable Road, Luton, LU4 8BS, and begin your journey towards justice today.
वेस्टबोर्न फार्मेसी हफ्ते के 7 दिन सुबह 9 बजे से लेकर रात 9 बजे तक खुली रहती है। हमारी सर्विसेज में शामिल हैं ट्रैवल वैक्सीनेशंस, स्टॉप स्मोकिंग, डायबिटीज चेक, बच्चों की ग़िज़ा और बहुत कुछ। लुटन और डंस्टेबल में फ्री प्रिस्क्रिप्शन, पिकअप और डिलीवरी सर्विसेज भी की जाती है। इसके अलावा आप मेडिसिन के इस्तेमाल के लिए फ्री मशवरा भी ले सकते हैं। वेस्टबोर्न फार्मेसी 198 B Dunstable Road, Luton, corner of Westbourne Road. Telephone 01582 419 432.
Are you ready to embark on a journey of purpose and impact? The East of England Ambulance Service is recruiting now. Are you seeking training and a new career or looking for a challenge in development? Start your career for life with East. Apply now for roles in frontline emergency operations, control rooms, support services and non-emergency transport. Visit www.eastamb.nhs.uk and click Join the Team. Make a real difference. Join the East of England Ambulance Service and start your career for life.
Are you looking for a guaranteed return on investment? With Wanama's ongoing Sadaqah fund, your £1 a day turns into food for the hungry, water for the thirsty, and care for the orphans. We work in 20 countries, including Gaza, Yemen, Uganda, and more. A continuous charity, and 100% of your donation goes to those who need it most. Invest in this life for your akhirah at www.wanama.org.uk.
If you fall asleep at the wheel, you'll put your life in danger and the lives of others as well. Before you feel tired, pull off the road into a services or other safe area. Drink some strong coffee and take a quick nap while the caffeine kicks in.
If you're having a nap, you've left your lights on, sir.
Right, cheers.
Think. Don't drive tired.
From the studios of Inspire FM, the time is now 10:30.
Good morning and Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Mother's Planet. It's Friday, 12th of December, and the time has now just gone 10:30. I am your host, Neelam, and joining me on the show this morning are my guests, Kalish and Rehana. Rehana, apologies for cutting you short just before the ad break there. She stays silent, and then when she speaks, she speaks. So I do apologize for cutting you short there. The ad break kicked in a lot sooner than I thought it would. I was in the flow of conversation with you both this morning, so I do apologize for that. Now, in the show so far, we have been talking about Ignite. We've touched on what Ignite is, which is a program designed for the youth, and it's not just a couple of weeks. It's a long-term program that's starting in January. So, Rehana, apologies for cutting you short, but going into the project again, you said that you were going to be giving them like a project, like a real world problem or issue to tackle. And then they were going to work from that, which I think is fantastic because these real world problems, as Kalish discussed earlier, are continuously changing. So having that from a young age and equipping them from that young age with a tool to be able to think is great. I don't think, I think it's fantastic because obviously when I was growing up, we never had opportunities like this. So when I hear of things like this, I think, as much as our youth is facing a very difficult time with the likes of AI taking over and social media platforms, they also are privileged with programs like this where they are being taught how to handle them and how to do things. So you're both on mute. I'll let you unmute yourself and talk to me a little bit more about how this program's going to run. So you said at the end of the year, you like to think it's a gala, or there were some differences in opinion as to what it was.
So yeah, we will have. Thank you, Neelam. So we're going to have a final kind of showcase event where they get to show everybody what they've been working on, present their business plans, and the best ones will win. Win prizes, prize money to help go on and implement that project. I just wanted to go back a little bit in terms of the project, because we started off talking a lot about AI, and listeners might be thinking, how have we gone to AI, to this kind of essentially employability program? But we are going to have a significant focus on AI within the project because we recognize how important that's going to be in the workplace. And you spoke, I think, just before the break about how, as parents, you were feeling a little bit frightened about that, and young people saying, we're really uncertain about the world that we're living in, and are the things that we're learning going to be redundant? And what we hope to say to you is that you're going to have to work differently, but there is still a role and purpose for you. But we just want to equip you with the skills and knowledge to help you tackle that kind of changing and evolving world. And in terms of the length of the program, so 6 months is a long time, and it's a long commitment. But what Kalish and I have both been kind of really, really fixed on, and wanting to say that we know that there is not a quick fix to this.
Yeah.
We know that if we really want to make an impact and make this meaningful, we've got to put time and energy into this. That an assembly or a one-day workshop or even a one-week workshop isn't going to give young people the kind of experience and skills that we want to. And in terms of after this program, we hope to remain connected. We hope to, keep them, carry on supporting them in terms of, the businesses, the organizations they're going to meet. So there's long-term support there, a long-term connection there, but also, if they're going on to apply for, we just spoke to a group of young people here at Stockwell Park talking about, applying for degree apprenticeships. And this is going to be, such a brilliant thing to talk about in interviews.
Yeah.
As much as it's a great learning experience for them personally, but also something really useful in terms of personal statements, in terms of applying to for degree apprenticeships, in terms of going into an interview and they ask you that question that everybody asks you, experience of working in a team, being proactive, all of those sorts of questions. You have so much to talk about if you've been through the program.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It sounds great. And I absolutely agree with you that it's not a quick fix. It's something that's got to be, worked on over a period of time, especially when it comes to navigating through different aspects. You can't just say in a week's time, we've come to a conclusion and this is how it's going to be. You have to trial and error, and that needs time. So, this is me talking about the youth doing their projects. It's not going to be, this is the solution. You have to trial and error, and that needs time. Going back to Kailash, and inspiring young minds. A lot of the youth now. I was told when I asked this question by my young youth that this is a very stereotypical question, but they are very money driven. And they look at careers that are money driven and focus on things that's going to give them money, basically. From your experience, what was your drive as a young person to get you to where you are today? And what advice can you offer to those young people that do feel that financial success is the only measure?
I'm going to sound a little odd, Neelam, in answering this question, that money has never been a motivator, but I've been incredibly blessed to be well off. But I will say that as a refugee, when we were living with just the clothes on your back for months at a time, one meal a day, living in camps, right? So I've seen the poverty side of the world, as much as now living in, glorious California in a big house and what have you, right? And so I've seen bookends of that. What I would say to the youngsters in today's world is, I think that even this concept of money is changing. When you look at digital currencies and what assets are of value, when you look at the virtual world, and so all of that is in flux right now. So to be able to say, I just want something what that might mean in the world going forward. But my encouragement to these young learners and your listeners is, before you even think about money or the career or what have you, you need to spend a little bit of time looking inside of yourself. And that's what we're going to do at Ignite. What we want to do is, you started early on by saying that, where's the hope, the ambition, the inspiration, the energy for these younger people to kind of navigate in this chaotic and fluid and agile world that we're living in. And as I mentioned, this world is here to stay. It is not going back to the days before. So I think our first criteria is helping them understand the skills that will help them navigate. So these are the skills like design thinking, problem solving, how to be curious, how to do research and understand, get data, evidence around things. Those are really, really core skills, whether you're going to be in the future a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, or a plumber, or an electrician, it doesn't matter. And so with this program, what we'll do is we'll give them the tools and these skills, and they'll apply it to this problem that Rahana mentioned on healthcare. And they're going to actually become entrepreneurs, like hands-on. They'll have a startup company environment, and they'll have mentors who they can go to in a safe environment, ask questions that have access to it, because any entrepreneurship, any innovation, any business endeavor, how finances work. So they'll learn that along the way. But I think our premise here is don't think about just getting rich. And one of my other learnings, Neelam, along my nomadic journey has been that whilst we sometimes learn of people that might have won the lottery or, got some stock options that suddenly went well and they made money, the vast majority of us, and me included, there is no shortcuts. You have to work hard. The notion that something is going to happen fast and quick and you can, put your feet up, I don't think that is reality. And I think that sometimes it's distorted in media and other places. So my encouragement to the young people is have a mindset of, I'm going to have to work hard. I'm going to have to put the effort in, but there's a lot of help here. That's what we're trying to encourage them to think about. You're not on your own. And we're going to arm you with the tools and the networks and the support so that you can be the best version of yourself.
And thank you so much. I think that's
whatever you're meant to be.
Yeah.
There's a quote I gave the youngsters today, Neelam. I said,
I think we may have. Yeah, there's a lag there.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you now. I think I'm going to ask you to repeat that.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can now. If you could just repeat that point you were making there, Kailash. I don't know if you can hear us.
The point I was trying to make is I think that, can you hear us? Is that better?
Yeah. I can hear you, but I don't know.
I was just saying, Neelam, that I think. Okay, well, let me just try and repeat that last bit just so your listeners here is I think one of the things we want to instill in the young people is this notion of hard work is really what's needed. Perseverance, the skill and the comfort to know that you can try something, say, and then we can try again and pivot. I think that this notion of experimentation.
Yeah, I'm really sorry.
Seem to have gone away from a lot of that.
Sorry, Kailash and Rehana. I think there's a lot of this is the greatness of technology here. I can't hear you very well. It's breaking up.
That it's okay to be able to do that. I personally lived through that, where my mentors encouraged me to try something. It didn't work, and then we tried something and that did work. So that's the kind of skill set we're going to give people, and I think that hopefully that'll give them the navigation skill to be able to.
I think we've lost them because the internet is playing up. That's technology for you today. So I'm hoping that they are going to rejoin. I believe they are reconnecting using a better internet connection. So team, if you are tuned in this morning, can you just let the team, Rehana, rejoin on a better connection? There we go. I think they can hear me better now.
We're hoping you can hear us now.
Yes, I can. Yes, I'm so sorry about that. So there we go. Technology failing. It's not doing what it should be doing. So yes, I think that's great. The point that you made. I mean, I was talking about financial success being the measure, and Kailash, you answered that spot on about actually it's not that. They shouldn't be driven by money because it's hard work, and ultimately that's what's going to get you the money. So putting the effort in and then going there. Now I'm going to ask a question. Coming from a South Asian community, and especially in the time that things were changing, what challenges did you face in your professional career? Because I'm not sure a lot of those challenges have changed.
Yeah, the great question, Neelam, and I'll be fairly transparent with the listeners here. I mean, I grew up when I came to Luton in an era of, very visible racism. I mean, I was beaten up on the street a couple of times by, the skinhead gangs in those days, and so I've seen it, and I've been there, and as I've traveled the world across 4 continents and lived across those, I've seen it in different forms there. So you're right that some of the bias, some of the fear, because somebody looks different to you, and some of the opportunities that are afforded to people because they may look different, that has been consistent for a long time. But here's what I'm going to encourage the listeners to think about and maybe navigate their energy towards, instead of worrying about the problem of the biases, but to think about technology has a very, very interesting way of flattening the scale here. It doesn't really, now today technology is accessible to anybody, whether you're in a remote village in Africa or you're here or you're in San Francisco. And I think that access to technology and that ability to come up with an idea that you can take along to the next levels, I think we're living in a world where anybody, absolutely anybody, whether you're a working mother at home, a single mom, whether you're a young 15-year-old, everybody has that opportunity that I don't think we had before. In days gone by, it very much was hey, where am I physically, and how can I physically get access to things? Today, I would say I had to go to Silicon Valley to do the things that I needed to do and wanted to do. Today, you don't need to go there. You can do it right here from your living room. And I think I was sharing with the young team today that just their phone, the mobile device that they have, has more computing power than all of the world's computing power in 1969 put together that put the first man on the moon. So imagine the power of that. And I think that's how we get around all of this and drive some more equity and some more inclusiveness and really drive the accessibility and ambition that some of our young people have in the South Asian community. So I'm very bullish that I think technology will be helpful rather than a hindrance.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that was spot on what you said there. And as you can see, you are joining me on the show via your mobile. So that's the power of the mobile. So yes, absolutely. The mobile is very powerful. Now, just talking about,
Can I just add to that? We're joining on a mobile and constantly interrupted by people messaging me. So we'll try and ignore those. But Kaylee's just made some really important points about how AI could potentially, and tech could be a leveler. But also, I'm constantly reminding young people we don't want to diminish their fears or gaslight them or pretend it doesn't happen. But we also want to remind them that they are brilliant as well.
Yeah.
And when they are stepping into every workplace is enriched by having them there. And having that diversity and difference in workplaces is a positive thing. Those workplaces benefit from them, and that we wanted them to step into those places with confidence. So not to diminish the fact that there might be challenges, but just to remind themselves that you are brilliant. You've got something positive to contribute. As much as you might learn and benefit from that organization, they can learn and benefit from you, and kind of walk into those places with that kind of confidence.
And Neelam, I was sharing with the group of youngsters today, and I said, I literally sat in and was in your shoes when I grew up in Luton all those years ago. And if somebody like me who didn't speak English and didn't like school and didn't want to be here could suddenly turn that around through mentors and networks and help and sponsorship, where I ended up having dinner with King Charles, and I've had dinner with Prime Minister Modi, and I've flown airplanes with the Royal Air Force, and I lived in California. I mean, you name it, all those things that are even outside of your normal career, professional working career. And I said, if somebody like me could do that, and the problems that we had in those days still exist today, were there. We still had technology issues. As you said, I got a master's in AI in 1990, and we were dealing with technology issues that people were fearful in those days as much as they are now, and the things like biases existed then as much as they do now. But I think we've got to encourage people not to admire these challenges and problems, but to be design thinkers and solutionists, and what we're trying to do with Ignite is really help them with these tools to say, you know what, I see that boulder right in front of me. How do I get around it? And there's so many ways to help them be successful. And as I said, be the best version of themselves. That's our goal.
Absolutely. You've answered several questions that I was going to pose to you there. So thank you. No, and because we are short on time, so I don't want to cut you off. I mean, we've still got about 5 minutes, but I just wanted to know the community and partnerships. So, you know, who's actually funding this? Where is this support or funding coming from for the program?
It's being funded by and driven by coffee.
Lots of it.
Lots of cups and coffee. You know, yesterday, a couple of days ago, Kalish and I think were having a conversation, and we were sort of talking about, you always get a little bit nervous. Is this going to work? And some of those T's have not been crossed and those I's have not been dotted, but we are going to go ahead anyway. Both of us having complete faith that this is going to come together. So we've got lots of potential partnerships happening. Lots of people who, local businesses, national businesses, international businesses who, will be getting involved and contributing to this. We have lots of volunteer energy coming into this. Obviously, the Raise Up Foundation we've been working on this for a long time. We've got schools involved. We had a partner event earlier this week where we had, it was interesting that you said right at the beginning, God, we never had anything like this when I was at school. We had 20-somethings in the room with us, like on Wednesday, and they were saying, we wish we had something like this. So there are so many people who are so excited about this and really want to contribute. So, the support, with all the money in the world, nothing can really replace the kind of community energy support and people's
and the lived experiences that people are bringing on board as well. People have got lived experience. I mean, I think you have a tremendous gentleman sitting next to you that has great experience that, I could just sit there and listen to you, Kalish. I can imagine a lot of 14, 15-year-olds.
Alongside Kalish, we've been hearing from so many young people and who have such a drive and passion for community, and wanting to help others achieve success.
And Neelam, I don't know if you know, but I'm also a director and owner at Luton Town Football Club, and we're all in and supportive as much as other businesses and organizations. I'm truly a big believer that this is our town challenge. This isn't one organization or institution. So we're going to need to have not only the learners, these youngsters kind of putting in the effort, rolling up their sleeves, because it is not easy to learn these skills either, but their parents, their family networks, the business community, we're rallying because they need to be a part of this. And of course, the other academic institutions. So we're going to raise up Luton. Totally. And this is, we're going to be doing something that no other town in England is doing, or anywhere that I know of. And we're going to show some really good outcomes. And we want people to participate, engage in whatever way they feel comfortable, and give back to this, because all of the money that we raise or all of the things that we're doing all stays in Luton. Nothing goes out, and it's all for our town here. And I think if we get this right, in a couple of years, we'll look back and say, wow, our town is so much better equipped to handle all of the chaos in the world and technology disruption that may be happening.
Absolutely. And I think, just because I'm conscious of time, just for those that are tuned in this morning, if they wanted to sign up their young person to this initiative program, A, how they could do that, and B, if there are other opportunities for volunteering, mentoring and sponsorship. So anyone that's tuned in that's perhaps a business or perhaps has lived experience that they feel that they could actually support this program, how do they connect and how do they sign up?
So if you are a young person who's interested in this program, we have written to every single school in the town. We've spoken to most of them. They will have all of the information about this program. Go and speak to your careers lead. If you don't have any luck, then get in touch with us. So you can email us at ignite at raiseupluton.co.uk. So that's ignite at raiseupluton.co.uk. If you are a business, potential mentor, partner, we would love to hear from you. Whatever that contribution, may be, we can talk to you about, the different ways that you can contribute. Again, drop me a line. It's Rihanna.Faisal at raiseupluton.co.uk, or email the Ignite team more broadly at ignite@raiseupluton.co.uk. And Neil, I'm happy for you to share all of those contact details with your network.
Yes, no, absolutely. I was just going to say, for listeners that have short memory like myself, don't worry, I will get the team to put that onto the Facebook page of the show as well. And just to finish off, what's the plan for the future for Ignite? Where do you see yourself going? We've got about 50 seconds to the show ends.
This is going to be the way of life, of the cycles of learning, pivoting, relearning, repivoting, because that's the world we're in. And what we're hoping to do is to really scale this for everybody in the town, whether it's young learners, adult learners, and our community, to be able to be comfortable in this agile world of constant change. And that's our goal.
Thank you so much for your time this morning. I wish you the very best on this project. Kailash, it's been a real pleasure speaking with you this morning, and always Rihanna as well. We can talk forever, but it's been lovely having you both on. And again, listeners, any contact information that you may have not heard in the show, don't worry, I will have these added onto the Inspire FM Facebook page. Jummah Mubarak and Friday Blessings. You've been listening to Neelam on Mother's Planet, only on Inspire FM. Stay safe, stay informed, and stay connected.